So now that the dust has settled on the situation when Dr. Disrespect was no longer affiliated with Midnight Society in any way, shape, or form, a lot of us have a lot of questions, right? And Midnight Society themselves are going to be making a lot of decisions, some of which are actually more obvious than others. The community's asking a lot of questions, and we're going to go over some of those in this video, which is really about what's next for Deadrop. For better or worse, guys, all eyes are on Midnight Society and Deadrop right now. And obviously this is not the reason. This situation, this last week or so, nobody wanted this, right? Nobody wanted this to be true. Nobody was expecting this or is cheering for this. But for better or worse, there's now millions of eyes on what Midnight Society does in light of this situation and what Deadrop does, how the game moves on from here. This is a really important moment in both Deadrop and Midnight Society's what will be its history, right? There's all eyes are on this game right now in this company for one reason or another, and the hope clearly is that Midnight Society can harness this and do their best to turn it into a positive, right? And put it out there and show that Midnight Society and Deadrop stand on their own for the quality of the game, you know, stands on the strength of its community, its developers, so on and so forth. So in light of the Dr. Disrespect situation, which I'm not going to get into in detail here, again, this channel is focused on Midnight Society and Deadrop as a whole. This is the same game as always, guys. The vision for Deadrop is not going to change, at least I'm not expecting it to in any way, shape, or form. Let's get that out of the way. They're still making a vertical extraction shooter. The game is still very much in development. Everything that was already planned to be coming soon and later this year, as far as we know, unless, you know, Midnight Society tells us different, is still moving forward. That means the founders testing probably coming sometime in the next few months, as well as the early access version of Deadrop with fully arted maps, objectives, all that type of stuff that will, you know, make Deadrop look more like a finished game. The word finished game or phrase finished game is obviously much different in 2024 than it used to be, as games are always evolving, always overhauling their systems, adding new content, so on and so forth. But the early access version of Deadrop, as far as we know, is still planned for the Epic Game Store, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles later this year. As of now, that has not changed, and honestly, I do not expect it to change, but there's a couple things within the game itself that I do think might require some small tweaks or changes. Again, first and foremost, I don't expect the actual core vision or gameplay direction for Deadrop to change one bit. This was always a game being made by a team of developers. It's not as if one person on the team was driving this. Yes, a lot of the core, you know, high-level idea for the game or universe may have been related to Dr. Disrespect. Some of it was his concepts. But stuff like the gunplay, the movement systems, that was always being made by developers, actual game developers at Midnight Society. And again, not just one person driving the development of it. So although I do expect changes to the gunplay, to the movement, that's even been teased by some of the developers in the next build, you know, I don't expect the actual gameplay or game that we know as Deadrop, the vision and scope for it, to change really in any way, shape, or form in light of this Dr. Disrespect situation. A couple things that I think do need to change in regards to actual Deadrop in the short term, and that Midnight Society may have some work to do. The lifelink voice obviously is probably going to have to change, and driver's key packages, you know, with the skins that were related to Dr. Disrespect, are those going to be changed, altered, something else given in their place? No answers here. Again, just thinking, obviously, they have removed Dr. Disrespect from the company. It appears they don't want to associate with him at all for obvious reasons. So that's something that I would anticipate. And then this is totally speculative, as is most of this video, by the way. But I always envisioned Dr. Disrespect, the character, playing a role in the game, perhaps leading a faction, having a spot in the player hideout, which is also planned to come back in the next build. That character obviously is going to have to be, if it was ever going to be a thing, pure speculation on my part, removed and changed. There will now need to be a new character. Maybe if there was any voice lines that were recorded for that character or texts that a certain flavor, that will need to be redone. Again, I'm just speculating here. I don't expect that to cause a delay to the early access build or anything like that, but it does create, you know, some additional work that needs to be done, if that was going to be the plan and if it had already been implemented and was ready to go, or even partially ready to go in the next build. Now, the next thing we need to discuss is both marketing, what I'm calling the re-reveal of the game as we get closer to this early access, the future of in-person events, as well as the structure of the company as a whole, because this whole Dr. Disrespect situation has obviously caused unforeseen circumstances, decisions that need to be made, changes in direction. So again, this is purely speculative on my part. I do not have inside knowledge. I am not a part of Midnight Society, but I think there will be some interesting decisions to make in light of this situation, whatever you want to call it, right? There was 4 founders of the company, that being Dr. Disrespect, Quinn Del Hoyo, Robert Bowling, and Sumit Gupta. Everybody except Dr. Disrespect, as far as we know right now, is still in place, right? All the other staff and the whole company is still in place. With Dr. Disrespect out, I do wonder, this is not a necessity necessarily, use too long words to start with an N in a row. Do they bring in a new partner now that one of the original partners is gone? And I'm not speculating that it's another influencer. I mean, from a business perspective or from a managerial perspective, do they bring in a new partner? I don't want to start this whole wild, now Ninja comes in. No, I just mean from a business perspective, does Midnight Society, and probably not right away, right? I just wonder long term if they will seek to bring in another partner, another member of management, so to speak, or a co-owner or whatever. Clearly, you don't add a founder after the company's already founded. But just thinking, there was also some people working on the game or with Midnight Society at some level, at least, who are part of Dr. Disrespect's team. Do those people continue to work with Midnight Society or not? I assume that's going to be their individual decision, right? Whether they want to continue. I would assume that Midnight Society, if those people were brought on board for their talents, they would certainly, again, speculatively speaking, just for my own sake, if they were contributing to the game, there's no reason to, show those people a door, so to speak. If their talents were needed on the team 2 weeks ago, their talents are still needed now, I'm sure. But just throwing it out there, there may be, when you have a situation like this, sometimes there are big personnel shakeups. And the next thing that I think a lot of people are probably going to ask is the future of the in-person events, right? And for a lot of people, I know that meeting Dr. Disrespect was a huge part of those in-person events. To me, honestly, speaking with the developers of the game, was by far the best part. Getting to know those guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and hearing their insights and their enthusiasm for the game. When I went to the event in Vegas was by far my favorite part of the event. So would I certainly go to another Midnight Society only event just to talk with those devs and meet with the community members, so many of you guys that I met in Vegas? Yeah, I would. But obviously this does shift things a bit. And they had obviously backed away from in-person events to focus on the actual development of the game. I do wonder how this affects the plans for in-person events. Do they go with something like, instead of holding, not many companies hold public in-person events like that for their games only these days, right? Like, I do wonder, and I always expected this to happen anyway. Do we get Midnight Society at PAX East, at PAX West, at Gamescom, all those other existing gaming industry events, what's another one? DreamHack, right? Like, maybe they take existing industry events, and obviously Midnight Society will have a presence there. Deadrop will have a presence there. That always made sense in the long term anyway, right? To expose Deadrop and Midnight Society to those existing audiences at those events. I'm in New York. I would love to go to PAX East and meet up with some of the Midnight Society crew. I've been to PAX East numerous times. You guys get where I'm going with this. I personally, I have wondered, we know that, Midnight Society's been working on a new trailer for Deadrop, probably with the more finished art and stuff, kind of like I said, kind of like a re-reveal of the game, what it will actually look like at the early access launch. Just speculatively, the next big event this summer is Gamescom, which is in Europe. Do we see the Deadrop re-reveal kind of thing around Gamescom? I don't know. Obviously, the founders testing could be before then, after then. Again, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. The next big gaming industry event between now and what I expect to be that early access Deadrop launch, which I am personally expecting in Q4, which is October, November, December. I'm kind of thinking October. Anyway, it would be Gamescom. Just throwing it out there, which is in August. And you know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I really think that it's on us as variants and claws, those of us who've been following this game and believe in the vision for this game, to deliver and help carry it to success more than ever, right? Like, the situation with Doc is not what any of us expected or any of us wanted. We all know that. It's sad and upsetting in a thousand ways that I'm not gonna get into here. But those of us who've been creating in this space, who believe in Deadrop as a concept, believe in Midnight Society, whether you're a fan, a streamer, a YouTuber, a gamer out there, whatever you are, if you believe in Deadrop, if you believe in Midnight Society, now is our time to come together and help these devs get this game over the finish line. Tell our friends, tell our family, tell all the gamers we know when this next early access build drops, and help get it over that line, push it out there to success, because we all know the world needs this game. The extraction shooter space needs something different. That's why so many of us are here. You know, a lot of us love the extraction concept, but Deadrop is something different. It's faster paced. It's got the cool universe. Like, I truly believe, based on everything that we've seen, that when this game hits, it's gonna stand out from the other extraction games, and it's truly going to deliver on that premise. That's gonna be that fun, exciting clip machine of a game that's not only a new extraction shooter, but one that stands out from the crowd. So all in all, guys, that's everything that I could think of to cover in light of this situation and consideration of where Deadrop goes from here. Again, we've all been through a roller coaster of emotions this past week. And I think for me, it's pretty obvious that nothing has changed as far as the future and potential of Deadrop. This was always a game being made by a team of people who have a vision and a passion, and there's a really strong community behind this. And, you know, if anything, this is only, as unfortunate as this situation is, it is only reignited passions, right? And all of us have had to consider everything here and just take everything in. And I really don't think anything changes for this game one way or another as far as its actual development goes, the team's mission, the core design of the game. All that stuff has been decided, and I don't see it changing based on this situation. So what's next? Founders testing, the early access release for Epic Games Store, Xbox, and PlayStation later this year, and a full court press by the team, which they've already been on, right? That doesn't change. They're gonna get through this. There may be some small changes that I went over. You know, on the careers page of Midnight Society, it clearly says they're still hiring for positions that they've had posted for a while. So despite all the turmoil of the past week, again, all eyes are on Midnight Society and Deadrop right now. And despite the tragedy of this situation, I really hope and believe that Midnight Society and Deadrop will deliver on the promise of Deadrop that we've all been waiting on and all been participating in this journey that we've been on for years now. And I'm as excited as ever, and you're going to see more and more content from me on this channel, as you always have, as we move forward, including my next live action Deadrop film. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions about where Deadrop heads from here. I'm not part of Midnight Society, so I can't answer them for you, but I can at least give you my opinion. We'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you're not already. Seriously, subscribe if you're not already, and see you in the next one. May Reynolds out. This video is sponsored by HumbleBundle.com, one of the best gaming stores on the internet. You can get games, software, all sorts of digital tools on this website at discounts, some of which are in bundles. So, you buy it, the more you buy, the less you pay kind of thing. If you use my link down in the description, not only will you get great games at great prices, but you'll also support my channel and content in the process. So check out Humble Bundle, and thanks for sponsoring us, guys.